All right, what's up, folks? Welcome to Foreign and Domestic. It is good to be here. Had a couple weeks off there. Had some issues with old StreamYard, and then last weekend I was on the road. So good to be back, and Alan will be just a little bit late. But with that being said, Battle Bean, would you start us off right, please, sir?
All right. All right, guys. Hand over your heart. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, sir. How are you doing, man?
Well, I am doing good, man. I just celebrated my 53-year fucking birthday. I'm old as hell now. 2 years from now, I begin my AARP card. I'm not looking forward to that shit. Um, So yeah, it was good, man. I went to Dodger Stadium on my birthday. It was great. They won, fucking assholes. Thank God. But yeah, it was good, man. Just been chilling at the house and enjoying my birthday weekend. This week I'm going on vacation with my grandkids. We're going to Disneyland, so we're doing some good stuff.
Awesome, man. Well, happy birthday.
Well, thank you,
Happy birthday, man.
thank you, sir. Thank you, thank you.
Rob, how you doing, man?
Doing all right. Uh, Better now. Had a shit week last week, all Alan's fault. So it's only fitting he's not here. But you know, but yeah,
Were
doing
you
all right.
were you trying
What's
to
that?
fix this piece of shit BMW?
No, no. But I think I don't know if it's just talking to him on the webs or what. But I think his BMW infected my Subaru or something. So
Oh man, no
yeah,
bueno.
yeah. Yeah, I had some issues. Uh, Figure if like we got nothing else to talk about, I'm happy to go over it. But it's all Alan's fault. But figure get through the introductions or whatnot. So I don't know. If
Yeah,
Jamie's
we gotta wait till Alan's here, and then once Alan's here, you can chew him out and go.
yeah, you want to give him a chance to defend himself.
Oh no, I didn't
Yeah,
say that. I didn't say
everything
that.
was good until he bought a Beamer. That's all I'm saying.
Uh, Speak of the devil, and he shows up. We'll finish going through the room, and then you can tell us your issues that Alan had caused you. Jamie, how you doing, man?
Better than I deserve, man. Thank y'all for having me. I'm still choking down supper. Been a busy weekend, as they always are. Before we get too deep, I'll just say I remember my 53rd birthday. Happy birthday, Mario. I remember my 50.
Thank you, sir.
I remember my 53rd birthday, and I thought I was old as hell too, way back then.
Feel it, brother, because you gotta think too. The military didn't do me any justice.
Well, I did not serve, so we thank you for your service on top of happy birthday. So, but my 53rd birthday was 11 years ago. So, and mine too is in August. So carry on. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. And Alan, how you doing, man? Glad you can make it.
Oh, well, I don't know if this is working yet or not, but hey, why not? Um, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. And yeah, I was out um, terrorizing the streets in my BMW and just, 130 miles an hour really doesn't get you back on time for the show.
That's all you were doing,
I,
130.
I mean, think about it. All you're gonna do is kill a bunch of corn husk. That's pretty much all you got.
Yeah. It's the barbed wire fence before the field you got to worry about, but after that, it's gravy.
As long as there's no camels around, you're okay.
Right.
I hate
Right. And
camels. They
I hate
spit,
camels.
they stink, they bite. Nope, I hate camels.
Yeah, I'm with Mario. Anything that'll just look at you and spit in your face, I'm just not a fan with. Especially you can't really argue with them. It's not like a person. So, yeah.
So, Alan, Rob was telling me before we got started that he had a really bad week and it's all your fault.
I get blamed for a lot of things, and usually it's because it is my fault.
I'm betting that Beamer's running really nice lately, huh? This whole
Oh,
last week, huh?
all week, man, it just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's inspired me to buy parts that it doesn't need, and really kind of just sink more money into it because it's giving me inspiration that it's worth it.
Well, I don't know, man. I don't know. I was convinced yours was running fine because last week mine wasn't running fine, and I think it all correlates back to the BMW and the voodoo you bring into our circle. So,
it
uh,
it's possible. It's possible. I
yeah,
know quite a number of years ago, somebody bought a CZ and introduced the CZ virus into our group, and it spread like wildfire.
yeah,
Everybody and their brothers started gaining CZs, and the it the struggle's real. The struggle's real. That's what else can I say?
yeah. I believe it. I believe it. Everything was fine, and I got thinking, about you struggling with your Beamer and stuff, and went out on a trip, and then the next thing you know, my gauges started going crazy, and everything was kind of weird, and didn't know what the hell was going on, and I'm like, oh my god, Alan got me, I got the Beamer problems. And so I get home, I'm like, well, I'm gonna check this out, check things out. Battery terminals look a little fuzzy, not perfect. So I'm like, probably an issue. Um, Ended up having to jump the car, and I was like, whoa, whoa. So got it running. Figured I'm not sure. Checked the battery. Battery was old. Had it tested, no good. So dealt with the battery, thinking I'm good again. I'm like, well, at least it ain't a Beamer, like holy shit. Yeah, even though I just dropped $215 or something on a damn battery, but anyway, ended up thinking I'm all good now, thank goodness. And next thing you know, like the next day, something like that, boom, electrical issues on the road again. Car ended up dying, like I got it jump and then made it about 6 blocks, died again. So I'm like, what the hell? So, you're thinking probably alternator at this point, but I put an alternator in like less than 2 years ago. And so, those terminals are pretty still messed up. So I'm like, well, let me change the terminals, thinking, all right, I'm good. Thank God it's not a Beamer, And then car died again. And this is where I started beating my steering wheel and screaming, "Alan, you son of Alan!" And come to find out, my 23 month old alternator was shit. So had to get a new alternator in the end. And initially, when all this came up, my first thought was alternator. But I was like, wait a minute, I replaced that. And again, I blame that on Alan with the BMW curse because I doubted myself. I kept thinking BMW. I'm like, the whole car's cursed. You know, Finally got everything good to go with the alternator. But yeah, so
Well,
just for the record,
wait. when you
I think
only
it's all
spent a
your
couple of
fault.
$100 on a battery, you weren't quite ready yet to
Well,
endure
I
the complete amount of pain that was required.
right. I did a tranny fluid flush with this Yanomatsu shit that's
Whoa, whoa,
$14 a
whoa, whoa!
quart.
We're not that kind of show, buddy. You have to say
Uh,
gender neutral shift juice. Gender neutral
also
shift juice.
oil change because it was about time for that too. So I mean, I spent a bit of money. I mean, I will say I lucked out on the alternator because I did buy it so recently. It was covered under warranty. But did I really luck out? Because is this another piece of shit that's going to be dead in 23 months? I mean, what the hell's going on? You know,
Hey, as long as that warranty restarts, then what is it? It's your labor. How
well,
difficult is it to swap an
that's
alternator on
like
that?
still, that, for my labor, unexpected after the week I had because of knowing somebody with a Beamer, like, it's almost priceless. I mean, you could say 10 grand for to put that alternator in easily, easily.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty bad. You don't have to actually be around somebody that has a BMW. You just have to know somebody, and
It's
and
real.
you'll have
It's real.
problems.
And so it's only makes sense that you're screaming down the road doing a $130 saying fuck the world this week. Everything's running great for you. It makes sense. Don't get me wrong, I'm putting along, but still,
Well,
yeah.
I can't make too much fun of it because the pendulum will swing my way again. It's inevitable. Just as much as we know the world goes round, or in Scotsman's case, the disc flies through space. I don't know. Um,
The rumor is you even infected Scotsman. So now I'm wondering about Jamie and Mario. Did you get us all? Is the curse complete yet?
I don't know if I can really blame Alan. I can really only blame the copious amounts of tire fucking material laying all over the roads in Indiana. Yeah, it got me good. I had a fucking tire
You're
bead.
gonna try to tell us that tire didn't come from a Beamer?
Oh, it could
I mean,
have.
it was probably
It could
Ellen.
have.
You know,
It could have.
there was probably a piece of metal that fell off a BMW and attacked your tire.
So a fucking piece of the wire bead itself, fucking wrapped up around my fucking axle and ripped the wire out from underneath my car.
damn.
So now I've got a part on order, so I can replace it because I only had this much wire left on the part itself to where I could try and splice it, and yeah, it's not gonna happen. So yeah,
Well, Mario,
at
Jamie,
least at
you've
least
been warned.
mine at least mine still drives okay. I just don't have
Fuck you
ABS
talking
or
about? I don't have no problems with my car. Don't be jinxing my shit.
yeah, it still drives
I
okay. I
didn't
just
either.
don't have ABS. Can't put it in 4-wheel drive or anything because it doesn't recognize what speed I'm going or where I'm at and all the rest of it. So
Yeah, cars have gotten too intelligent for their own damn good. They just really have. When they keep trying to introduce like smart guns, and yeah, our community is just like, oh fuck no, don't do that. What are you're that is just stupid, and this is why. Um, you know, let's let's improve the headlights and make it to where you have to take half of the front end apart in order to replace a light bulb.
Forget a bulb. You
Uh,
got to replace the whole unit for 1,200,
uh,
1,500, 1,600 now. Yeah.
Yeah, the amount of sensors and stuff on trucks and cars these days is just ridiculous, man. I much prefer old school, not having any of that crap, but it is what it is. You know.
Yeah, it won't let you put it in 4-wheel drive because it can't read a speed sensor. I mean, that's crazy.
Right.
It's like it
It's
should
so
be a
stupid. And I've got flashing lights all over the dash and this big huge fucking message on the front that says, pre-collision sensor not working correctly, take it to your dealer. And then ABS pops up every now and then, flashes at me saying ABS isn't working. And yeah, so you just got this constant fucking message sitting right there instead of your speed. Because
Yeah,
why do you need that, right?
that's another
oh,
big issue.
Mr. 42 Unhinged. Maybe there's a correlation there. When they started taking ashtrays out of vehicles, they started getting too smart for their own damn good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and all the sensors in the new ones, like up in the bumper, lane assist, all that, the cameras in the front, make it now so basically any little bump in the front is going to be expensive. Expensive. Even a regular guy, like you're going to have to take it into the dealer to get it. More than likely, take it into a shop that's got the dealer software and the cards so they can reprogram the sensors just so you can legally drive the car again. Like it's pretty crazy. Like it's not just a piece of plastic anymore, which I thought was stupid to begin with. When we had what 15-mile-an-hour bumpers, like I have my truck that are still fine to this day, even though a couple Buicks have ran into it.
And so like when the pre-collision sensor popped up, I'm like, okay, well, let me see where that's at, and I'll take a look and make sure that's okay. And of course, that's behind the grill. And I look in there, and there's no issues there. And I'm like, so what the fuck's the problem? I don't see an issue there. Um, and it was
If
driving
the
okay.
brackets bent at all, that's a
No,
problem. There's like a
no,
small window that they're supposed to scan, and if it's
no.
out
It
of
was,
alignment
it
at
was,
all, that's a
uh,
problem.
it was fine, and it was driving fine. I didn't have any issues driving it. So when I got where I was going, I crawled underneath, and that's when I found that freaking wire bead wrapped around the freaking axle.
Yeah, they have beaver people. Right, cut over on the shoulder, spitting tire chunks out everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, it is bad. And then on the way back this past weekend, on the way back, coming back through Indiana, it was even worse on the way back. I mean, just absolutely fucking everywhere. Fucking nuts.
It's your tax money at work right there. You think things would get picked up. I mean, I see that a lot with roadkill, or sometimes it'll be in a main stretch and it's there for like 2 weeks. And you're thinking like, damn, the police drove by this like 20 times. Somebody could have called that in to DOT or something.
Yeah.
And they just seems like it sits there till it explodes, and maybe they'll come, blow it off the road later.
Boy,
Yeah.
we've had a lot of positive decisions for protecting our Second Amendment right in the courts as of late. It seems to be um, promising. The question that I'm kind of wondering is how much of it is a farce? How much of it is, oh, well, we're just going to make them think that they've got all these rights, and then we're just really going to stick it to them again. It's hard for me to believe that they're actually going through and looking at things objectively and realizing, hey, uh, this isn't right, this isn't right, this isn't right. And, we're getting just like federal judges that are admitting to this, but there's been big stirs over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, there's been a
Can
lot going on, but if you think they're gonna give up that easily and actually return your rights, probably got another thing coming. So be prepared. There's gonna be a lot more to come with this. They're not gonna give up that easy.
can you for the sake of my ignorance and maybe some others, enlighten me on what exactly actually passed or approved lately that's positive for us? Obviously, I've been dealing with knowing somebody with a Beamer curse the last week, so I'm not 100% up on things, work and life. So, fill me in because I hear a lot of shit, but like always, people say a lot of shit, and half of it never, it's still waiting to be approved or passed or went through the House, not the Senate, with blah 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 blah. What's really going on? What's changed? Please.
The biggest elephant in the room typically is the injunction that went through, and so um, do you know anything about the injunction that went through on suppressors with the GOA and Silencer Co. lawsuit?
I've heard something along the lines that it's gonna be fine now, not a no tax, but you still gotta sign up for it or something in states that'll allow it you to have a suppressor. I heard something about
So,
that. But
in a layman's nutshell way, what the federal judge allowed is he put in a injunction against the NFA that allows Silencer Co. and GOA members, past, current, and future, to not have to go through a Form 1, Form 4 process in order to gain things like suppressors that are being held in NFA status because because it is unconstitutional. We've known that it's been unconstitutional forever. And so now people are going in and getting suppressors with a standard form as that you would fill out if you were buying a regular firearm. And in the states where you don't have waiting periods, you were walking out the store with your purchased item that day, which makes perfect sense to me. If they still want to consider suppressors firearms, then we're filling out 4473s. I've already got my concealed carry. I can consistently get background checks. They can still run a background check if they want, to each their own. There was all this hoopla over the ATF taking forever to clear suppressor applications, and the fact is they needed to be treating it as a regular firearm to begin with. This judgment showed that these particular people now have an injunction against it, to where they don't have to fill out Form 4. They don't have to go through that entire process in order to take their purchased item home.
okay. Yeah, well, on that's kind of what I've heard. I just wasn't 100% sure if that's how it's 100% laid down now. So obviously, I think that's like a step in the right direction. I personally think if we still got to fill a form out, there's a problem. I don't think it's anything besides an accessory, personally, but that's personal. So I think this is a step maybe towards that, but you know, okay, is any other big decisions that have been made recently, or is that the key thing there?
That's the biggest one. And so it's not it doesn't ultimately it puts into question a lot of other things. One, how they're gonna enforce this. Uh, for two, what's this do with plenty of other accessories? Can I put a standard stock on my AR pistol now? Is the question that's being posted all over the place.
Okay.
Well, and the
Weren't they
big thing
supposed
to
to
there,
remember there
respond
too.
by Monday with a clarification letter or something?
Yeah, they didn't respond. They didn't respond, so it ended up the injunction passed. But basically, you got to remember and be careful because there are still 15 states that require you to do the Form 4 regardless because it's a state regulation, state law. So you still have to. So just make sure, check your state before you run out and think you can buy one. Because like the state I live in, can't do it. Still requires a Form 4. So you got to make sure you know your laws.
yeah, and that's sort of another one of the things in the wings. If the federal government is saying these don't actually require this kind of background, where does the state have legs to say that it's required? Um, and well, ultimately, that's how the Constitution is set up. It allows the states to require extra things on top of what the federal government says can and can't happen. Well, keep in mind the United States, our Constitution is different than any other Constitution in the world, and it says what the government can and can't do, not what the people can and can't do.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, I'm with Ozzy on his last statement. New York's like hell no. So hopefully, this sticks and grows and attorneys, start pushing it in the statewide, because it would be nice. I know states can try to vary or whatever, but I personally think when it comes to, you know, things that would be considered, you know, your right covered through the Constitution, if you want to state, it shouldn't be an issue, amongst the states. So obviously, if they want to make their own rules about, what side of the street you park on or something, that's different. But, not
And
the same type of
I so
firearm.
this particular injunction relates to members of GOA. I have a lifetime membership to GOA. I've had a lifetime membership for many years now. I'm not rushing out and buying a suppressor with it. I still want to find out how they're going to be dealing with this. My state allows suppressors. So nevertheless, if I run into that law enforcement, if I run into uh, uh, anybody that just doesn't understand the law, I don't want to be sitting in the back of some vehicle wearing bracelets and have to prove my innocence.
Mm. Well, I would warn people that, even if you're in a state, just my cheap ass individual opinion, I would wait. I'd sit on this like a year probably because, like in all things, now, all these companies that are out there that have been making them are marketed at a certain price. That's what they've been getting. That's what the market's been. Now that shit's going to be legal, the game's going to change. So they're still going to have to run through all their stock that they've estimated so much for or paid high or whatever the case may be. But eventually, and as other companies open up, the market's going to grow. So there's going to be a boom, at least in my opinion. I mean, maybe not like it's not going to be as big as the auto market or whatever. It's not going to get that, but there's going to be other people that jump in, open it up, and then you're going to get a competition price war.
Well,
So I would hold out because I'm willing to bet, stating it right here online, you can get one cheaper in a year than you're going to get it now. Like I think people are going to reevaluate once they blow through their stock because the field's going to look different at that point. If that makes any sense.
well, if it remains to where it's legal for like that, then yes, I agree 100%. But the thing of it is it's just an injunction. And another court can turn around and say, oh, no, 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 no. So I would wait based on the fact that you don't know for sure what's going to happen yet. That's what I would wait personally just for that because it's only
Yeah,
an
they
injunction.
might tell you it's cool, and then now all of a sudden in 6 months you got 90 days to report or file it, or you're a felon.
Right.
Yeah,
There's all kinds of issues that could come up with that. So I would just wait and make sure everything goes through, and because more than likely it's probably not going to, and it's probably that injunction's probably going to disappear, and you know.
and I've always bitched about the prices of them. I just, to me, that's like the biggest flaw. Like I'm not, not paying $800 for that, like, or whatever. I know that, they've come down a little now and whatnot, and it depends what you're getting them for, but I've always thought that the price was just super stupid inflated. And, I gotta be careful what I say, but I would easily build one long before any of that shit. Would it be the quietest on the market? Maybe not. Would it work? You're damn right it would. And I guarantee it would be like a fraction of the average cost of what
Oh
people are
yeah, it's a freaking metal
doing.
tube,
Like,
dude.
yeah,
The
like,
metal tube, and they
like
charge you $1,000.
there's
It's a,
adapters
it,
online for sale for like $23 that you can get with your threads and stuff. I mean, you can take some time. I mean, there's stock shit on the shelf that you could probably make work if you're not too picky. Like, I just
yeah,
don't.
really,
I don't
I
get it.
agree. The prices of these things are absolutely atrocious. Now, depending upon the materials used and so forth, some of that can be justified. Yet, the thing that I don't understand is that's all it is a muffler. So, depending upon what you're doing with your car, you can spend a lot of money on mufflers for your car. Just the different materials, and you're paying per brand name. Sometimes you can spend a lot of money on mufflers for your car. um
R&D too, where they're trying to reach a certain point with it, whether it's sound or performance or flow or whatever. There's some of these bigger companies have invested in trying to come up with the best, quietest or whatever. So I'm sure that costs some money, but still. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but just giving another example of cost.
yeah, yes, they do still have plenty of time to appeal. It has been publicly announced that a lot of people in higher government have told the ATF, you were not going to appeal this. You just flat out are not going to appeal this. How much weight that's going to have with the ATF is another story altogether. Again, the ATF shouldn't be a regulating body. So when you have members of the regulating body telling the ATF you're not going to appeal this, they they should be listening. If they do, remains to be seen. Um, but they're being told directly to not.
It'll be interesting because as well as I do, they write their own rules and come up with stuff all the time. So it'll definitely be interesting to see what happens. Well, it's just kind of like with the triggers and all that, man. I don't trust it. I'll wait till I know for sure that all of that's kind of put to the wayside before I even attempt to buy one.
Yeah, I'm curious, like now that it's clear or whatever, I guess you still have to fill out a form in some states. Like, is this something where people can start throwing up YouTube videos of how they make one? You know, and obviously states where it's legal, like you'd be stupid
Well,
states where it's
I would say probably no
or
on the YouTube
but
side of things, just because they have a lot of their own stuff still about
uh,
guns and what you do with guns and stuff on here. So I'd say probably not.
Yeah,
well,
YouTube specifically has regulations on manufacturing of firearms and firearms components.
so let's
I
say
definitely
like
wouldn't
Rumble
say
or
on YouTube, but
some
but
other platform.
again, this injunction um, does open the doors for that. It is legal to make your own firearms. Well, it's still considered a firearm, and we can talk about it being a considered firearm or not here in a minute, but it's still considered a firearm. And so it is legal to manufacture your own firearms. Um, so at that point, it brings in more questions. And so there's huge amounts of balls of wax, they say, in what the all the implementation, all the implications that this has for a lot of the different aspects of our hobbies, of our sports, of our trainings. Um, and you know, to me, so we can get into the should it be considered an accessory or should it be considered a firearm? Does anybody actually want to get into that one?
I mean, it
Because
opens a
Like
whole can of worms.
accessory.
But yeah, we
Yeah,
can do.
dude, that's like you doing mechanics on your BMW. Leave that shit alone.
I don't think you're hard. Well, I guess if you throw it hard enough at somebody, it could be seen as like a weapon. But clear than that, I don't think so. Or maybe try to chew on it or something. You might, but
I
other
mean,
than that, I don't see
I
how it's a
personally, I
object that needs
personally have
materials or anything like that.
I personally have a real quick answer to that debate, but I'd like to hear what other people have to say about that. Old guy, I have my own opinions, and until convinced otherwise, I believe my opinions are correct. So yeah, I honestly do want to hear other people's opinions.
All I can say
Yeah,
is you guys are lucky that you guys get to have suppressors. So be thankful that you at least have the opportunity to get the motherfuckers, unlike me in California. But that's my saying on that.
if you go based off of the ATF's definition of what is a firearm, no, it does not constitute a firearm. By their own definition, it is an accessory.
Well, black guy might have had something there with his last comment. Because you know how every organization or especially insurance company, they come up for their own meanings for words. So maybe accessory has been tagged somewhere in legal mumbo jumbo, and we should just call it like safety equipment, something like that. As Mario put in a comment a while ago, instead of an accessory. I'm fine. Basically, I don't think you should have to pay. I should be able to send my kid in to pick one up with a pack of gum or something. I don't think there needs to be any. Not like 6 year old, but you know what I'm saying.
I'm glad you clarified that because
Yeah, well, I don't know. I just mean like there shouldn't be any paperwork or anything, in my
oh, there
opinion.
shouldn't.
It's like picking up a set of, foam earmuffs or razor slims or whatever. It should be
Hell, a
that's
Snickers
your car.
bar.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But
Damn it, Jeff.
I also blame Hollywood for making suppressors evil because technically speaking, they have made suppressors be like this spy game kind of crap that people have and people that want to hide a murder or something like that.
Right,
I
but who
I kind
does
of
who does Hollywood work for?
yeah, it works for the bankers and the Jewish people.
It works for the government. The government institutes various things and puts it in a big screen in front of you via Hollywood.
Yeah,
Yeah, we should be smarter than that because
when
he's
this law
right.
came
But
about, Hollywood wasn't nearly as part of it. I think Hollywood has perpetuated it. They've created a lot of stigma behind it. They've literally tried to make it seem like it's this terrible evil device. If you've ever watched John Wick walking through a bus station or a mall, um, they don't work like that. Us gun guys that have used them know this. People that don't know anything about them and then actually see them in action are like, oh, that's not really what's been represented to me my entire life.
Well,
Um,
here's some opinion for you. You want to hear people's opinion. Uh, and before I get started, just remember you asked for it. Uh, there are cases on the books where murderers have grabbed a potato and stuck it on the bore of their gun to act as a silencer.
I
And
believe that.
let me ask y'all this. Who is going to hold a potato in one hand and put their gun right up to the potato and fire it? Not this boy. It ain't happening. I ain't doing that. Call
Well,
the
I think
lawyer.
the idea is you stick it on the barrel and then let go of the potato and just fire. And I think that's the idea. Not that we're encouraging or trying to instruct anything,
Yeah.
you two.
Anyway,
Are you
here's the
talking
thing.
from experience here?
Here's the
No,
thing.
no.
Here. All right. Let's take the most common rifle in the United States of America. I think we can all agree that that would be the AR-15, correct? Anybody dispute that? So I can get on Bear Creek Arsenal, Brownells, anywhere, and I can have a complete upper sent to my doorstep. Okay. That includes the upper receiver, the bolt carrier group, which includes the firing pin, the barrel, the handguard, and all the other parts. All I got to do is throw it on a lower and go. But I can buy that. I can order it online, pay for it. It'll show up at my door. Okay. That's the upper. The lower contains the handle, the stock, the trigger, the fire control group, however you want to say it, and the hammer. Correct? So,
Yep.
by this definition, the hammer and the trigger or the fire control group constitutes the firearm. So, in what world, when an AR-15 upper assembly is not considered a firearm, how can something that screws onto the end of the upper ever be considered a freaking firearm?
You're using too much logic, Jamie. I think you would have lost them like 5 minutes ago. You're making too much
But
sense.
but
Well,
here's the
see, here's
other
the
side of
thing.
that coin. I'm not interested in suppressors because they charge too much for them. And earlier, G23 was talking about you guys need a car warranty. No, the hell I don't. What I need is to learn how to work on my damn car. That's what I need. I need to learn how to maintain my crap. Same thing with my firearms, with my home, and everything else in my life. I need to learn how to take care of my stuff.
Damn right. Be a man. Be sufficient. Be able to handle it. And on another
Man,
note, I've probably spent less on my car and maintenance for like the 3 years that I've owned it than G23 spent on payments for his road in a year. And then
Except
man.
for this,
he's got full insurance too. I don't, because I
except for this past week where Alan cost you a lot of money and time.
even with that, I'm
Yeah, from
still
half a
probably
country
ahead.
away, it was Alan's fault. But here's the thing,
Yep,
okay?
yep.
G23 says some suppressors are under $200. Okay, we're getting closer to my price range. I would probably buy one if it was a well made something other. Here's another thing, too, is there's this thing called quality. And right now I can't even spell quality. But I can't really, I think that's an indefinable word. You can't really tell me what quality is, but you can put a piece of machinery in my hand and I can tell you if it's quality or not by feeling it, looking at it. Y'all agree?
I can tell you. I can tell you how quality is spelled, Jamie. It's real easy. It's CZ.
R, S, and W. Yeah, it ain't that hard. But yeah, man.
I went to Jamie's school.
I don't know
Anyway,
what you guys talking about that perfection stuff.
Well,
yeah,
which generation? Because apparently they can't get it right.
but yeah, how is something that you screw on the end of an upper that is not considered a firearm? How can it possibly be considered a firearm? It ain't about that. It's about power and control. That's what it's always about. That's what it always will be about. And when you start talking about power and control, you want to know who's after it, all you got to do is follow the money.
Yep.
Period.
100%.
Yeah, precisely. I mean, I don't believe that a suppressor should be considered a firearm in any way, but I'm glad that it is to a minor extent because it actually still falls within our constitutional protected rights.
Well, that's one
They
advantage.
want to consider it a firearm, fine. Then you better abide by the Constitution.
Which means you
And
cannot
I believe G said
restrict
it in
our
the.
access.
Believe G said it in the side. If it was considered an accessory, then they can go after and start trying to ban every little accessory under the sun. What the industry is going to do is create a different version of that accessory, and then they have to go through all the legal bullshit in order to try to get that banned. And that just gives them research time to create the next accessory that does the same exact thing, just in a different way. So now they have to rewrite all those fucking laws again. And we'll see this perpetuate itself over and over and over and over and over again. But the only advantage in having it called a firearm is you're going to violate my constitutional rights. You don't allow me to have it. And the states are going to end up having to bite that bullet. All the states that do not allow them are going to have to bite that bullet because it is considered a firearm. in California, the Rouster. What recently happened with the Rouster, Mario? Do you know the ins and outs of that?
The rooster? Yeah, the rooster. Yeah, it's actually getting. They're trying to get rid of it, and they're using the Bruin. What do you call it? They're using Bruin as a way to get out of it, but it's probably not going to happen until Steve Hilton takes over. Um, I think once Steve Hilton takes over as governor, he will pretty much rescind it, and we can pretty much buy whatever the hell we want to buy here and have whatever kind of magazines you want to have and all kinds of stuff. I'm not crazy about this guy being the fucking governor of California, but he's the less of the two evils. I mean, he is a Republican, but he's a Brit, and I don't know how much he really gives a shit about Second Amendment stuff or how much he really values it. You know, I think it's kind of a
Highly
wait and see.
suspicious. Right.
Yeah, he's a Brit, and I mean, I know he became a U.S. citizen and all that shit, which is great. But I don't know how much he values the Second Amendment. You know, because you got to stop and think about it. In fucking England, all they can have is fucking rifles. So to him, that might be something that he's kind of more used to than having to say, "Hey, you can have a fucking .50 fucking Desert Eagle or some shit." I don't know. You know.
And they've
Uh,
got a history of dominance. They've been compliant
yeah. I do
longest.
think I do think eventually the roster will go away because it's been fought in more ways than you can think of. It's been like 5 or 6 lawsuits regarding the roster, and I think it's finally taken its toll. But as you know, even if for some reason they go against the roster, the state of California can do an injunction and continue going with the same situation again. So it's a recurring thing until it might get to a point where we might have to get the Supreme Court involved, and the Supreme Court will most likely, get rid of it because it is something that I don't think the Supreme Court wants to touch it because it's a state thing and they know the ramifications of how that's going to happen because pretty much Illinois, New York, all of the other bullshit that they got going on around the country, like a lot of those laws will end up going to shit.
Well, we've
So,
already fought one war over states' rights.
which one?
Really? Anyway, I'm still bearing the battle scars of that one. So, uh, 100 and what, 50 years later. Amen, Savage Lee. Good word right there, bro. Thank you, Bo. That is the wildest question I have fielded all weekend. So, what do y'all think? What are you comfortable paying for a suppressor? I mean, why can't we just uh, take a mag light and go out to our shop with our lathe and with our drill press and make our own? Why can't we do that? And you guys in the side chat too. There's 18 of you guys out there now. Come on. What are you comfortable paying? What are you willing to pay for a top quality suppressor?
Yeah, the key words there, top quality. When it comes to suppressors, tons of different levels of suppressors,
So I
and
don't know much about.
depending upon the materials used, and there's so many different factors that that has to be encompassed by. Yet I'm not going to be able to get me a chunk of billet titanium and go out and mill my own suppressor, um, and deal with it that way. I mean, for the longest time, people were using, what were those, oil scavenging tube thingamajiggers, um, because it's essentially built like a suppressor, or whatever they were. Um, People were using those, and why not? Um,
Solvent,
and
solvent trap.
it's literally because of the laws on why. What it's worth to me is going to be the materials, the quality. Um, with quality, ultimately, believe it or not, is going to come a namesake. If I can actually, nobody's talking about oil filters.
I
Yeah,
like it.
you're right, Scott. I mean,
I like it.
um,
I'm liking some of the answers we're getting out there.
Yeah, I'd say it has a lot to do with, you know, one, the function, like caliber. What are you talking? Something big, like an everyday gun? Obviously, in my opinion, I would want something I could break down and clean. I know some on the market you can't. That could be a problem. Um, and materials, depending what you're doing, something that wouldn't rust would probably be ideal. Uh, but there's a few factors in there. But I would think with today's metal and whatnot that something nice for normal use, I would say, I don't know, $400. But again, I'm the cheap guy, so something that'll work.
This
I can
fucker wants
make
a
a
Groupon
belt
deal.
for under 100. You know what I mean? So, but I would be paying extra for that R&D for the perfect fit pin for me not to have to screw with it. That's what I would say personally.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. Yeah, no way I'm paying anywhere close to $1,000, Scott. I I'll tell you where I'm at, and I think you guys will agree. But I'm kind of liking what Scott said the second uh, about the 3D printed titanium cans. I will not pay more for the can than I paid for the gun. Does that make sense? Dave, happy birthday, brother.
Hey man, if George Clooney can build a suppressor in Italy, I said we can build one too. Just saying.
I think just about anybody could. How well it works is debatable. That's where you're going to have your issues. But we all have different levels of being mechanically inclined and thinking outside of the box. I would definitely not go start milling down you know, stock steel or whatever. And maybe
it's an
a few people are,
extremely simple device.
yeah,
And
maybe
the
people are at that level,
rednecks have
but
been making them out of PVC for 40
yeah, there's a
flipping
lot of
years.
stuff out there. Yeah, I don't know about PVC, but there's a lot of materials and you can repurpose a lot of things. I mean, as people said, there's the whole oil filter, but you're not getting sights that are 3 inches tall, so I don't know about that. There's fuel filters that have been talked in the past, the solvent traps, the mag lights, old school, but then you got height issues again. I mean, it depends. Is it going on a rifle? I mean, there's a lot of things you could use for alternate purposes and then create baffles, and you got to figure out your thread connection. So, but there's adapters online for like $23 or less. So there's a lot of things you could do, but how well and how long would it work? So again, I think, if
I
you
mean,
can bake a cake, you could probably make one.
you could
Yeah,
use
and
an oil
it
filter.
it, it does have a factor. There positively is a factor in the firearm functioning properly. You do have to have the proper firearm. You have to have the proper setup in order to run cans properly. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. In America's most favorite rifle, this is kind of easily done. You get yourself an adjustable gas block, and once you get it dialed to the standard ammunition that you use, you don't need to change a dang thing. It will function with or without the can on it.
Yeah, kind of like Dwayne's comment there, 250 to 400. That's about where I'm at.
Yeah, there are some that are really way overpriced. That's for
Yeah.
sure. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of technology that goes into it, but how much technology does it really cost? It's a freaking tube.
Let me give you an
Yeah, you're
example.
paying for the marketing too, man. Remember that.
Yeah.
Right.
In the scale of business, I think, because there's not one of them things like, where 10 million, 100 million get sold every year. So obviously, like anything, when you're paying for tooling, machines, and whatnot, if you do a small batch, it costs more than if you do a large batch. Same type of thing. But I think,
Right.
they went crazy with that to where they're charging thousands of dollars in some cases, or, in my opinion, a lot, for stuff that can't even be taken apart and actually cleaned. To me, that's just, I think they're price gouging. But now that things opened up, that's what I'm saying. The field's kind of changed to where there's a lot bigger potential. The average guy can just go buy one, then more average guys will go buy one.
Yeah,
In
but
that
the
sense.
average
So,
guy ain't going to be able to go buy one, Rob, until the price gets.
right, and that's
Right.
what I'm stating. But as more companies come out and whatnot, if it stays legal, then there's an opening, there's room in that market. So the market's going to grow. When the market grows, things always become cheaper. That's another reason why I
Yeah,
hate the
a
whole.
lot of the flood right now, I believe that we're seeing is the people that actually always wanted them, but never wanted to fight with the government and jump through the hoops in order to make it happen. The Yes, price is positively a factor, but then when you're also having to jump through all these hoops and go through all this bullshit and get fingerprinted and get a freaking mug shot taken and get filed in with everybody else, it's a lot of hoops to jump through when there has been like zero reason for it.
Well, again, I think we can blame the. A lot of this stuff goes back to the gangster era of the 1930s. I mean, when was the NFA enacted? Wasn't it 1934?
Was it prohibition with the
They were
the
chasing.
running around the Tommy gun?
Yeah, they were,
Yeah, what's his name there? Capone, Al Capone, was it?
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, because a couple assholes are running around. I'm sure Bonnie and Clyde at that time hitting banks up in
Well,
this, and
they
they screwed us
they
all.
used that as
So
an
it's those
excuse.
people
That was
who need
nothing.
to find their graves and start kicking them. Just
That
kidding.
was nothing but an excuse. That's what they were. They were the excuse in order to make that happen.
Well, uh, well, the funny part is they realized it wasn't going to work with alcohol, and they switched that around. But
So
yet,
Bonnie
you
and
still
Clyde were
had
killed.
bullshit with guns the whole time.
Bonnie and Clyde were killed May 23rd, 1934, on Louisiana Highway 154 near in Bainville Parish, Louisiana, by retired Texas Ranger Frank Hamer and his bunch. They used the he used a Remington Model 8 chambered in 35 Remington. Pretty much the only reason I know that. Even after Bonnie and Clyde were killed, you still had Pretty Boy Floyd, uh, Machine Gun Kelly, the Pretty Boy, I forget his name, the one that looked like Clark Gable. Dang, can't remember his name.
Well, yeah,
Anyway,
Bonnie and
Well,
Clyde
so
weren't
that
necessarily involved with the suppressor side of the NFA, I don't believe, because they never used suppressors. Now they
yeah,
did use
they
automatic
used
weapons.
they used
but that was
BARs, brother. Solid off
Yes,
that was
BARs.
they used automatic weapons, and so if you want to include Bonnie and Clyde as a factor for the NFA, yes, that's where I think the blame needs to lie. And because of them, a couple of outlaws using automatic weapons, and continuing on into the gangsters that were running alcohol, they were all using automatic weapons, and they all got popular using automatic weapons because they were weapons that they were getting from police stations.
so that was the NFA. That's 30 something. So then what was it that changed back in like the 70s, early 70s? Because, you know, there was something there where you used to be able to just order a gun from Sears to show up at your house
Well,
with no.
that was the Gun Control Act, and that was '68.
Okay, 68. All right. Yeah, I thought it was 70s, but okay. All right. So yeah, there's a couple generations there that next time you go by the graveyard, if you see people that era, then give them some shit.
Yeah, they were taking firearms from police stations, armored National Guard, um, military bases. They were literally getting all their firearms from governmental agencies.
I know for me being, basically from New York, is I've traveled around like, here I would say like the shock was in Wyoming pulling up to the gas station and realizing not only can I buy gas, but I could also buy some 5.56, some 2.23. Shit, I can buy an AR-15 right here at the gas station. Like,
And a case of
like,
beer.
yeah, like I was like, you shitting me? Like, damn, hell yeah. Like, yo, so it's kind of crazy how things change and how things are different in different states because you don't see that in New York State. You know, it's just not a thing.
Right.
Shit, Walmart don't even sell guns in New York State anymore.
Yeah, there was a whole big thing there with Walmart for a while. They were going to get rid of all guns, and then they got a lot of flack for that. So they limited the amount of guns they have and what they carry, but they still sell them.
I think they only sell like shotgun rounds here. I don't know. I haven't looked because I barely ever go to Walmart. I've still got like a ban on Walmart. Like,
Yeah, most of what they sell now is shotguns, 22 rifles, and they got some bolt actions, but not many.
okay, yeah, I know ours doesn't have anything that I'm aware of. So besides some
Okay.
ammo,
The name I was trying to think of was John Dillinger. Here's the thing: back then, when those guys were public enemy number one, and the reason I'm talking about this is because it directly led to, as Alan has explained, it led to the NFA. But the 30s and the gangster eras, when they when you made public enemy number one or you were in the top 10 or whatever, they didn't try to arrest you. Uh, they just
dead
flat
or
out
alive.
gunned you down. They
Yeah,
ambushed you
done.
and killed you deader than a hammer right here, right now. So, what they did with John Dillinger was they got this lady, she was a prostitute and a madam, and a friend of John Dillinger's, or an acquaintance at least, uh, to go to the movie with him, and they wanted her to wear a red dress. And so when they came out of the movie theater, um, she ran away, and John Dillinger was butchered right there on the streets of Chicago. I think it was
It's
Chicago.
always a lady. It's always a lady.
The lady in red was Anna Sage. She had she went by she was nicknamed the Lady in Red, but she helped the Federal Bureau of Investigation in tracking down gangster John Dillinger. Uh, July 4th, imagine that, 1934.
A woman led to the downfall of a man. Imagine that.
When has that ever happened? Uh,
They get
Don't
men
eat the
killed on a
apple.
regular basis, one reason or another.
so
Don't eat the apple.
on July 22nd, she fingered Dillinger to FBI agent Melvin Purvis, resulting in Dillinger's shooting outside the Biograph Theater in Chicago.
Mm.
So she promised to wear red, but she actually wore an orange dress that night.
Oh, so is she trying to like not really do it? Did she get pinched into this situation?
I think she was pressured because of her occupation. But
Hmm.
after they did that, uh, they put her in witness protection, moved her to Detroit, then to California. She received a $5,000 reward, only half of what she had been allegedly promised. Uh, in 35, she informed reporters of the deal to keep her in the country, but deportation proceedings had already begun. Allegedly, the FBI told her they could not stop the procedures due to bureaucracy or poor communication between the branches of the federal government. Imagine that. She appealed the decision to deport her, and her case was heard in Chicago on October 16th, 1935. In January of 36, the court agreed with the lower court, and she was deported to Timisoara, Romania. I can't say the name of the city, but she was deported to Romania in 36, making a point of shunning further publicity. She lived there until her death from liver disease in 1947. So she lived another 11 years after that.
It sounds like she did it for the money, from what you're saying. Got paid half what she was told. So she
Yeah.
sold the man out for money.
Well,
You know what they say about money, the root of all evils.
no, the love of money is the root of all evil.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah.
the guy who
It
shot
goes right back to Adam and Eve. I mean, everything was cool, but she had to take a bite of the apple.
uh,
It's a common theme from the very beginning of time.
yeah, the Charlie Ford and his brother Bob, who dang, I can't think of his name either. Uh, crap. Anyway, they were promised a reward, and they didn't get any of that. And dang, Bo.
Rewards are
I mean,
usually bullshit.
he's kind of got you there.
Rewards usually get met with,
Thank you,
you're gonna
text
tell
Jesse
me, or
James.
you'll get charged for withholding information to an open investigation. So don't, it's funny when rewards backfire on people, I think, because people should be smarter than that. So that's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. But anything criminal, no, no, no.
Here's the thing, Mario. You really know you're getting old when your buddies can finish your sentences for you, like Tex did for me. Yeah, I'm talking about Jesse James. Uh, Bob Ford shot him in the back of the head. Him and his brother went to claim the reward, and they got nothing or very little. Matter of fact, they got arrested, but
Good.
they didn't get any time uh, to speak of, if I remember correctly. And one of them, I think Charlie, committed suicide, and Bob Ford, who actually uh, shot Jesse James, um, he got killed in his own bar. He'd moved out west and had further out west. This all happened in Missouri, and he had opened a bar and a saloon, and he got killed in his own saloon. So think about it. If you got a lot of people who know and like you, and you go out west and you try to get away, and then you open a bar, all of a sudden you're not so hard to track down. You know what I mean? And your friend there, that guy's friends come to find you, and buckshot's hard to take, dudes. I'm telling you, it's not a pretty death. Anyway, I've talked too much. Y'all go ahead.
You're good, man. You're good.
I think the reward thing was probably a good point. I think we'd have a lot of problems today, especially with how people, claim broke or whatever. But you think back to that whole COVID thing where people were ratting out their neighbors for having a birthday party and shit like that. What if the government threw out like $1,000 reward for anything like that? Like, I bet you they would have been overflowing with calls. You know what I mean? Like, people are
Well,
kind of
yeah, but
grimy.
only if they
Like, they
said that
just,
it was tax free.
right. Like, people are grimy. You throw a few bucks on there, and, our own damn people would sell us out. That's all I'm getting at, So, the whole reward, I always had a bad taste with that. It's like, grandma loses her kitten or something and she wants to give you some cookies, you trust eating them, good for you. But, if you're going to do something, do it because it's the right thing to do, you know?
You don't
The
sit there
reward's
and
a
act all
trick.
high and mighty. If
I'm
someone
just saying, like,
if
you know,
someone
it's
threw
just
out this
karma
giant
coming to
bowl of
get people,
salad,
man. Like,
and
don't mess with karma. Just keep it on your
if
favor. Save the
if
luck for when you need it.
if someone threw out a huge giant bowl of salad, you'd do anything for it. So I don't want to hear it.
Nah, man, I'd be skeptical as hell. You got to be crazy. Either you're crazy or something's wrong with it. It's a trap. You know, it's just how it is.
If somebody told me they'd give me a $50 reward to find those 200 Milwaukee batteries, I might go look for Milwaukee batteries, but I ain't going to claim no $25 reward.
Well, like I said, there's a difference when it comes to criminal stuff. It's you know, more than likely you're not collecting anything you want anyway.
You come across the Milwaukee batteries, you can send them my way.
Well, if somebody needs batteries, we got Mario in here, and Mario's got to have a cousin that knows somebody that knows somebody that can get you whatever the hell you want at discounted prices. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be,
That
of
fucker's in
course.
county, man.
Get it.
Yes,
Oh
that's
shit,
Jefferson
shit,
County.
shit. Well, if you need some like ramen or let's see, jailhouse burritos, anything like that, I'm sure they can hook you up. You just got to fly it over the fence.
You've been watching so many movies.
He's watching the news. There are way too many judges in this country that should not be judges that keep turning around and allowing
Yeah,
illegal immigrants to stay and keep bypassing injunctions and doing this and doing that. And it's very, very frustrating to say the least.
I agree. And I'd say it's not even just immigrants; it's regular
This is the
people
only
too.
country that cares more about non-citizens that they do their own fucking people. Did you guys see that thing about Poland? This Muslim guy trying to get in and gets a little too close to a Polish soldier and he shoots him with a sim round. That was hilarious. I was like, yeah, that's how it needs to be, man. That's why we have this
Yeah,
kind of crap that's going on right now in New York. I don't know if you guys saw that, but you had a bunch of fucking Muslims saying that inshallah we're gonna make fucking America Muslim. I'm like, bitch, you ain't, motherfucker. Because I'll be honest with you, I'll be the first motherfucker to put a fucking bullet in your head. I saw enough of that bullshit in Iraq. I am not gonna deal with that. I mean, we're seeing stuff that I thought that I would never have to see when I deployed, bro. And
you're
now
right.
that shit's here, and I'm like, what the
Uh,
fuck is going on?
But seriously, like people should worry about it. If you look back on history, uh, it's grown a lot, and it's historical. Any land they claim, that's certain. It's seen differently than we see it. Like it's a tribal culture in the sense of where there's more of us than you. It's our way. So that's why we already have pockets in America where shit's just different. It's not you know it's not right. And we got a lot of shit in government, utilities, all types of stuff that it makes me nervous, bro. I'll be honest with you, it makes me nervous because
How the fuck does New York
people
City?
don't understand how this shit works. Like, and then if you say anything, you're a racist or whatever. It's like you're supposed to just deny facts, deny what in some cases people tell you themselves, and just
Out.
go with society.
I would never think that 20 years after fucking 9/11, no, what, 25 years after 9/11, that New York would actually fucking elect
Have been Donnie.
A
Yeah,
Muslim fucking mayor in the most important
yeah.
city in the whole fucking country. Like, really? Did you guys
Oh,
not
and
remember September 11th?
that motherfucker had the audacity to say he wanted to go to the memorial, and there's so many people telling him to stay the fuck away. Do not show up.
It's crazy. We need to be worried about it because it's coming. It's all over America right now. Michigan, parts of New York, all the major cities. Look what's happened over in Europe. Look at Paris, London. Like they're almost unrecognizable. It definitely doesn't match Rick Steves' Europe vacations anymore. I can tell you
Hey
that
man,
much.
we don't need another Dearborn, Michigan in this country, bro. We need to get off of that shit. Like, honestly, like I respect all people, and but you know the way that shit works is that when you come to a country and you become a citizen and you become part of society, you pretty much have to get used to the customs and courtesies of that country. It's not the other fucking way around.
Yeah,
And we have allowed a lot of this nonsense to go on for too long, and it's got to be to a point that people need to show allegiance to the flag. People need to care about American culture. And if they don't care about American culture and how we do our
They
customs and
can get the
courtesy,
fuck out.
then get the fuck out. Why are we allowing this
Amen.
shit to happen?
Amen, brother.
Well, a lot of the world believes that Americans don't have culture. That Americans are just angry teenagers.
Well, the upcoming generation, yes, for sure.
Well,
Angry teenagers
here's my
that
thing.
don't know what fucking gender they are.
If we don't have culture, then why is it that all these people that came for the World Cup all raved about our culture, about our traditions and how we do things and how great people really are? You know what I'm saying? Like we are not a bad society in general. We really are not. But I think, to be honest with you, we have become too tolerant and have put the cheek to the other side nonsense and have let these people just have their way and bring in their traditions and their nonsense over here. That's the reason why this country is the way it is, man. I'm telling you. And if we don't stop it, it's going to continue getting worse, and then there's gonna be a bunch of salty motherfuckers like myself that are gonna put a foot to stop to that shit. And you know what's it gonna happen? You're gonna have a bunch of fucking civilians with fucking rifles all over the place, start creating their own martial law. Do we have to get to that point?
Well,
You know, it's
America's
sad.
our
America is the
kindness has
world's
become
melting
our
pot.
weakness.
America's being the world's melting pot. At what point is it the happy middle ground? You can have a lot of your own traditions and bring it into the United States, and that can be honored to a certain extent. But there's a line, and how do we decipher what that line is? When you're trying to create law based around your traditions, your philosophies, that's over the top. That's shooting past the moon, man. So where's the happy middle ground?
Oh,
The thing
I
about
think
it is they've already fucking gone past the middle ground. When they started bringing this whole woke cancel bullshit, that's when they went too far.
Well, they've been going way too far, way before that. That didn't help
yeah,
any
I
for
think
sure,
it's
but they've been going way before that.
the assimilation part. Like you're supposed to you can, like you say, you can practice your religion, you can do your thing within your home, whatever. Doesn't mean you go under a different law. Uh, but anyway, you can practice what you want. You want to go through. have a holiday when it's not a legitimate U.S. holiday. That's your business. But it's when you just want to keep things the way they are and lock things down to an area, only work within your culture, bleed the beast. I mean, when you're going on all the typical shit that why did you even come here? You know, if you're not going to be part of the group, why'd you even come here?
Well, they came to infect it. That's the
Right.
problem. They
Well,
came to
that now
infect
you're just suspect. Now you're suspect. You know, it's not everybody, but you know what I mean. Like, it's those large groups like that. In some
and
places,
and
compound, and
and you
then
know
the
what
leeway.
really? Go ahead.
Like, we should be suspicious in some cases. So, you know, people say whatever, but you know, it's just like when you're riding around in the hood. You like, you know, I get pulled over more. There's a reason. You know, statistically reason. Still pisses me off. I don't like profiling, but in some cases it works.
Just a minor glimpse here about late 300, early 1400 AD was when a saint came up with the saying, "When in Rome, do as the Romans do." Essentially, I'm paraphrasing, but um, yeah, late 300, early 400 AD. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. Uh, it, you don't just go into another country and bring your other country with you. If you left that country for a reason, don't bring it with you. It, it,
Demand we
I don't
change our
understand.
ways.
I don't understand the philosophy personally. If you left somewhere because it was so bad or so horrific, to go somewhere else, but you bring that with you
Well, that's it.
instead
That's it.
of
This is a prime example of how Texas has been dealing with a bunch of Californians over there. That they go into Austin. Austin is a fucking liberal cesspool, but they think they can bring that same nonsense over there to a predominantly red state that does not have the same beliefs as they do. And then you wonder, why the hell did you leave California? Oh, because the same ideology you're thinking about, you want to bring here and you want to screw over Texas. And that's the reason why Texas has been going through so much nonsense to the point that they're fed up with it. That it's no different than Idaho. Idaho's been having the same problem. All these Californians moved to the damn state over there, and then they want to bring that nonsense over there to those states, which are predominantly Republican, and you wonder like, what the hell are you thinking? What you think that by coming to another state and then creating the same nonsense you created in your previous state that somehow is going to work? It's not. It's stupid. It is a stupid ideology that we continue dealing with this crap.
and Edward Patty's on the money, man. It's the problem is that the kids are not being taught properly. They're being taught that it's okay. And parents ain't doing their job either, man, because parents are allowing the schools to do whatever, and they're not actually being involved. And I'm not saying all kids and parents out there, so don't get your knickers in a twist. But the majority, unfortunately, are not being taught properly, and they're not being raised properly in the home either. And so they think shit like this is okay, where the country's being overran with different types of religion and other things that are bringing more and more problems to the
But
country.
then these are the same people that thought that way. Now the millennials, now they're being adults, and now that they want to have houses and all kinds of other stuff, they notice that same mentality and thinking that they had going on when they were growing up and going to school and all that does not work. So
Some of them.
eventually it's catching up, but to a certain point, it's catching up to a point where they're getting to a point that they feel like they can't afford anything. Well, it's because of the people that you had that had that same mentality that created policies preventing you from not having the things that you have.
Right, that's it. That where they are. They're future voters and leaders, and if they turn them while they're young and get them to believe this stuff, then it's easier to get them to vote and put the things in place that they want.
It kind of points the fingers back to parents in the sense. Do you want to put your kids in a school that's going to raise them, bring them up in a system like that, or would you rather have more control over it? So
I mean, you
You
got to
know,
obviously, the easy thing
question.
to do is public school. That's what most people teach kids
You
thing to do.
should be.
Everybody else does it, but is it really for their best interest?
yeah,
Well, you should be questioning everything as a parent when they're erasing history in schools, when they're not teaching proper things that everyone should know. Your kid doesn't know the Constitution. Your kid doesn't know the basic history of this nation. It doesn't know past presidents that made major impacts on this country. It doesn't even know who the fucking current president is, probably because they're that fucking stupid. I mean, it's basic stuff that's being erased. Um, and that's a major issue when you're erasing history. The only reason to erase history is so you can frame it the way you want the future to be and not allow people to see the problems that can potentially come from because you're doing the same shit that was already done however many years ago.
But studies are out on a lot of studies, obviously, on children, most influential years and whatnot. They say, with the studies that I think it's like 2 to 7, like the core is already there at 2 to 7. So that's why, in my opinion, I tell people, you teach your kids young, you know, and you don't have to fight them in the grocery store at 12 when you say no about a candy bar. But you know what I mean, that type of stuff. But anyway, but I think it's kind of ironic because a lot of cases there's preschool, then you got kindergarten. Basically, the average kid gets thrown into the school system within that time period, which has got to be a shock because you're pulled out of your house and all this stuff, and you're thrown into the program. And so a couple years in, they already kind of trained you for the course, if that makes any sense. Maybe
See,
I'm
and it's not just here.
crazy.
TJ's out there, and TJ says a third of the population over there is not born in Australia either, and they don't have the infrastructure to cope with it. And it's all over, man. I mean, back home, it's really bad back home too. It's insane.
Break the cycle, folks. That's what I'm getting at. Break the cycle. If you got what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah,
Break.
yeah. Break the cycle. Teach your kids at home, and get on the people that are supposed to be working for you, and tell them, hey, immigration's okay if it's done the right way, but all this bullshit, illegal shit, is not okay.
Even if you can't, maybe you're not set up that way or your life or whatnot, can't teach them yourself at home or may not feel prepared, you might be able to, there's alternative options. So you look at the numbers again, private schools graduate way more. It's almost a guarantee, a lot of them. Just the numbers are better for private schools. More than likely, your boss's kids go to private school. That's just kind of how shit goes. And there's basically a reason for that. I won't get all too deep into it, but um, that's an option too. And people say it's crazy. It is expensive, but they're not all super. They're not all like mini Harvards. When you compare the cost of a new vehicle or people's vacations, a Disney trip, it's not crazy. It's if you can do it for all these other reasons, you should be able to do it for your kids' education, well-being. That's all I'm saying. Kids are the future. We got to get this shit right. So,
Yep.
I just feel obligated to spill my shit out there, and I'm done.
No, you're good, man. You're right. They are the future, so we got to teach them right.
I hope my golden years don't suck.
A lot of these problems all arose when we were told you can't use the belt no more, stuff like that. It was amazing what the belt used to do to people.
Yeah, and discipline as a whole. I mean, you in most states legally, you still can't. It's just how it's done. How often is it your only form? Blah blah blah. So I mean, I'll publicly say I'd spank a kid. I got no problem with that. It shouldn't get to that point, and it rarely ever has. I think I can count how many times I've spanked a kid on my hands, and I've you know had a few kids. It's very rare, but just knowing you will avoid some of it. But I don't think it's. I think people always assume the worst, like mommy dearest or something. You get beat with a wire curtain and there's or hanger. You know what I mean? It's always, but that's not. That is abuse. You know what I mean? It's just I don't know. I think when done right, it's something that should be put there. And at the same time, adults, I think, people would act a lot better if you could get punched in the face. You're out there talking shit, get punched in the face. That kind of happens. If I go to a bar and start talking shit to people, I'm going to expect to get punched in the face. That's just kind of what happens.
Right.
So,
And you
a
should.
lot of
You
people
should.
have never been punched in the face, is what I'm getting. They were never had discipline. Nobody ever told them no. The laws forgave them. People make excuses. They give them crutches for the issues, all this bullshit. And then they just freak the hell out when they finally meet somebody like me or like you, probably. But it's just, you know, or their girlfriend cheats on them with a real guy and they can change a tire and then they want to come shoot the place up. So, yeah, I
It's
don't know.
amazing.
You know what I mean? It's just like,
It
you don't always get what you want in life.
goes back to the beginning of our chat. Talking about working on cars. You need to know how to work on your vehicle, man. You know, even shit pops up that don't necessarily know. Figure it out. We all know how to do stuff. We got to figure it out. Uh, I'm not buying a fucking warranty from fucking G or 23 or any warranty from fucking some company. I'm gonna go fix my own damn vehicle. I don't want to take it somewhere. I don't want to pay a bunch of money out. I'd rather fix it right, and know it's fixed right, and do it myself.
I'm definitely the same. Plus, I think I'm a guy. Like, it's fucked up. Well, let me see what I can do. Let me get my hands in there. I don't know.
Right. I'm not.
It's just
Don't
one of
ever be
them
afraid to
things.
get dirty, man.
Yeah, but know your limits. Like, don't work on gas if you never worked on gas before, or you know what I mean. Don't do something where you can kill yourself, obviously, but
Right.
don't be
Yeah.
afraid to paint your
Know what you
walls
can do. I
or
mean,
custom
obviously,
trim. It's not the end of the
you know,
world if you screw it up.
right. I mean, there's certain things on the vehicle that I probably wouldn't be able to do just because I may not have certain tools or whatever. And if I get to that point, then I get to that point. But so far all the stuff that's come up with it, I've been able to do perfectly fine by myself.
No, man, you're paying that warranty every freaking month where anything happens to your car or not.
I ain't paying no
And
freaking
warranties and
warranty.
insurance companies are like one of the richest out there. They make the most money from doing nothing, man. Doing nothing.
Well, yeah. So I go to, speaking of insurance companies, I go to drop the deduct or increase the deductible on my comprehensive and my collision on one vehicle and add comprehensive and collision onto another vehicle. And they won't let me do that on their website. But if I just add comprehensive and collision to my other vehicle, they'll let me do that on their website. So if I decrease any of the current insurance that I'm doing, they want me to contact them. But if I'm just increasing my policy along the way, they make it easy as hell to do.
Dude, get a
Wait a
fucking
minute, wait a minute.
insurance
You want it to
company.
be cheaper? Hold on, hold on. You better call the office.
Hold on. So who's your insurance company?
Progressive.
Okay.
Damn, Flo got you messed up, man.
Flo's grabbing you
Oh,
by the nuts and going, "Hey, you need to call me, motherfucker."
Yeah, I don't really find them all that progressive.
Flo's got you flowing.
you just dropped from platinum down to like silver now.
Yeah, I've been with Progressive forever and a day, and looking for insurance sucks donkey balls. Because as soon as you put out anywhere into the world that you're looking for insurance, you get
Oh,
called
it's
every 3.5 minutes
nonstop.
by everybody under the flipping sun.
Text
Um,
messages and shit,
and
quotes and
they
stuff like a
all
year
say that they're
later.
going to beat the next guy. They all say they're going to beat the next guy. Oh man, it's terrible.
Yeah, I personally, it's one of my beefs is insurance companies, man. Like they never want to pay. Like I gotta have insurance for work. You know, I've never used it. One time I called and questioned about using it, and the guy was like, you got a renewal coming up, and I'm like, yeah, I got you. So I didn't file a claim, but anyway, it was cheap. Anyway, it was like $300 or whatever, but. It's just the principle of the matter. Like, pay for you. You gotta have it. Get your certificate to be signed, to be bonded for all this shit. But God forbid you ever need to use it. And every year the packet gets bigger and bigger and bigger. If it's a mob on the street and my vehicle gets destroyed, they're not covering it because they call that a terroristic act, whether it was or not by the police. Like it's just it gets thicker and thicker, the bullshit. Your coverage gets thinner and thinner. Well, the bill gets bigger and bigger,
Well,
and,
Yep.
and by law, you
a guy
gotta have and same shit for auto. It's like these
a guy
mother.
like me has sunk thousands and thousands of dollars into something that has the tradable commodity of a ham sandwich. So, if I go
That's
and
always a risk when you hook up an old car, man. It's always worth more to you than Blue Book. That's you should have known that.
oh yeah,
But
absolutely.
on
I
the
knew
bright
that.
side, Rob, go ahead, man.
Yeah, totally understandable. Totally knew that was going to happen, but I also figured, hey, I can just get extra insurance for it, but what they want for it is absolutely incredible. Now there is a lot of like specialty and antique and classic car insurances out there, but they have very, very, very specific regulations. Like it's got to be in a secured, locked garage all the time,
Only so much
and
mileage per year.
you have to
Usually a certain
document
age.
exactly what those mileages were for.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, it's like, wow, really? You got to know everything that I'm doing with the vehicle. Why don't I just go buy a brand new vehicle? You guys are already putting shit in there to, to discover everything that I'm doing with it.
And in some cases, you got to get it different plates too for your vehicle once it classifies as an antique or classic and whatnot. So it's kind of crazy. Yeah, it's just more bullshit.
Yeah, just another way to suck more money out of you. But when it comes to the insurance racket, man, I don't know if the Sicilians still run this or not, but wow. It is absolutely incredible if you're not just like paying liability and calling it good, how much the insurance quite to add an extra $4,000 in customized parts and very high deductible comprehensive and collision insurances, quite literally was going to double my premium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what really gets me, pisses me off, is they got this shit in New York State where they want to claim no fault. Like, like, oh, it didn't happen. Everybody's got to eat your own shit. Which I think is just bullshit. And then on top of that, accident my vehicle was in a few years back or whatever, quite a few now. My truck. Lady cut across like 4 lanes, locked her brakes up. I thought, okay, she'd missed her exit. Started to recover. Then she flipped me the bird and locked her brakes up again. I hit her, and freaking, she ended up admitting to the police what had happened. Because at first they were just freaking out on me because I'm in the rear. So in New York State, I'm automatically at fault. Well, of course, they didn't want to look at the skid marks for crossing lanes and all this shit. Didn't nothing, whatever. Well, if she didn't admit it, I would have got screwed. But she admitted it, so I wasn't ticketed from this. In the end, she was in a borrowed vehicle. They had the same insurance company I had, so I got stuck paying for my own shit. And on top of that, my goddamn bill went up, even though I wasn't even ticketed. Like I wasn't at fault with the accident. And my bill still went up for the shit I had to pay for and fix myself. These sons of bitches. Like, I want to go punch somebody in the face, man. Like, this shit is, I hate these bastards. I hate them. Sorry.
Well,
I
I've
hate them.
started, Progressive has this thing, it plugs into your OBD2 port, and basically it's like a GPS and it tells them how you drive. If you're hard braking
Oh,
and
only a
this, that,
fool's
the
gonna
other
pick
thing.
that.
And it's supposed to help you with your rates on your insurance, and this is furthest from the goddamn truth. One of the things that ended up happening is there was an accident at an intersection, and there was law enforcement that was guiding traffic, and law enforcement flagged me through this stop sign. And I get an alert on my phone afterwards saying, you just ran this stop sign, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, the fuck I didn't. I got told by law enforcement to go through that stop sign. It's like, no, I've taken this thing out. I am not going to complete your stupid program, because it was also saying like I was hard braking in places where I sure the hell did not.
Hmm?
Yeah, it's
What
stupid. They
hours you drive.
make it real easy to take your money and then do everything they can to never have to pay out anything.
Yep. I'm shocked you fell for that, man. I'm shocked. Years ago, they offered
I,
me something like that, and I was like, oh, hell no, you got to be crazy. Like,
I just
years ago.
I just
I
figured I'd
can't
give it a
believe you.
shot, see what it's. I figured out, I'll give it a shot, see what it says. Good gravy, hell no, y'all can suck it.
There was one case with that where there's people that have tried to fight it because now, like, forever, their bills stays higher, and they're trying to claim it wasn't right. And then there was a stop. Like, this one guy, every time he drove home, he got nailed for a hard stop at his driveway because the dog would always run out to the driveway. So it raised his rates. And there was a whole case about this type shit where the guy was, trying to fight it because, it wasn't a hard stop in traffic or whatever, but that's how it was logged. So his rates were higher, same type of thing. So I think it's crazy. And then, you know, when one insurance company labels you one way, apparently that data is shared or something. So when you go to
Yeah, they
try to
all
get a
share.
different company, yeah, you're
Yeah,
still
they all
getting
share.
pinned for the false shit on the last company. So you're now just forever going to pay more in insurance because your dog would greet you at the driveway. That's bullshit.
Yeah, my insurance company tried to get me to put one of those things in my truck before. Say, it'll lower your rates and all this and blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, no, I'm good. I don't need another tracker. There's plenty of freaking trackers all over the place. I'm good.
Well, unfortunately, now the newer vehicles pretty much do the same thing without a tracker. You know, the Lexus Nexus system or whatever they call it. And it's, which isn't like anything to do with Toyota and Lexus. It's a company that runs through everybody's
All
shit.
right. Well,
And there's another one out there too.
we'll start going through the room. We're getting to that time. Battle Beam, what you got, brother?
Nothing. You guys shut up about fucking insurance. You guys, swear to God. Anyways, that's all I got. I'm gonna go enjoy my vacation. Love y'all.
All right, man. Go enjoy your vacation. Happy birthday, you old fucker. Uh, Rob, what you got going on?
Nothing, man. Just hoping the curse is over. And I do warn Mario. I mean, hopefully it doesn't hit him on vacation, because if it does, that's just horrible, especially with the grandkids. And also, Jamie there, he needs to be careful because it hit me, it hit Scotsman. You know, Alan's kind of cool, and since wasn't out that much money. I'm all right with this little glitch, but this can't be a normal thing, man. So hopefully it runs its course and we're done for a few years.
Yeah, man. I cannot afford to have to keep working on shit. I don't want to be. So I'm right there with
Yeah.
you. Hopefully you have a better week and don't have any more car issues. That's for sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jamie, what you got?
Not much, man. Just check us out Friday nights at 8 o'clock on Georgia Shooting Connection channel. I ain't said that in a long time. And I need to be making some videos. I got footage in the can. I'm just too sorry and busy. But think I got a new project in the works. I think old Tred's going to help me out. So it might be fun. Thanks for having me, guys. Looking forward to seeing y'all. It's always fun with you guys on a Sunday night. So thanks for having me, man. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, brother. Always appreciate you being here. I always appreciate everyone out in the side chat. As Rock, you're always here, being a part of the conversation with us. We always appreciate you for that. And I know we had a couple weeks off. Good to be back. Good to see everyone out there. And hope everyone has a fantastic week. With that being said, Alan, please take us out right, brother.
You're muted, baboso.
What technical difficulties, man. Good show, man. Thank you everybody for being here. Glad to have everybody here. Just wanted to remind you, if you're ever doing interstellar travel, bring a towel and keep your magazines loaded and one in the chamber. Woo!
Quit bitching about insurance.